Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here again, taking a unique stack of sources, theology, leadership notes, articles, and pulling out the core insights for you, cutting through the noise. Today we're tackling something pretty big, an idea that honestly challenges how most of us think about getting ahead professionally. We focus so much on strategy, right? Skills, hard work. We think breakthroughs are purely earned. But what if? What if the next big step wasn't just about what you can do? What if it involves something invisible? We're doing a deep dive into what our sources call favor, God's currency of advancement.
Yeah, this is such a critical topic for anyone in the professional world, especially if you've ever felt stuck, Despite having all the qualifications, it hits on those really common questions like, why did that amazing opportunity go to someone else, even when you are clearly the best fit, or maybe even stranger?
The flip side.
Exactly. Why me? Why was I picked for this huge thing I didn't even ask for? Something maybe I didn't even feel ready for. So our mission today really is to unpack what these sources are claiming, that these kinds of moments, they aren't just random luck.
Not just fate.
No, they're described as divine alignments, orchestrated breakthroughs, things that work outside the usual rules of logic and effort.
Okay, let's get into that. Favor. Because we need to be super clear. This isn't just, getting lucky or even getting what you deserve because you worked hard.
Right. The sources are really insistent on this distinction. They say favor isn't coincidence. It's not random. It's described as God intentionally positioning people, timing, circumstances.
To achieve something specific.
Yes, to achieve his purposes, often through your life. It's a very deliberate alignment. And here's a key distinction they make. Favor is less about personal advantage and more about assignment. It's tied to a purpose.
Assignment. How does that differ from, say, power?
Good question. The sources contrast them. Think of power as God working through you, giving you the skills, the strength, maybe even miraculous ability. Power equips you. Favor, on the other hand, is described as God working for you, often indirectly, influencing other people, opening doors you couldn't open yourself. Favor positions you.
Okay, I like that. Power equips, favor positions.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned grounding this theologically. There's a specific term.
Exactly. To avoid vagueness, the sources point to the Hebrew word en, pronounced hen.
Hen. Got it.
Yeah. It translates to things like grace, charm, acceptance, benevolent regard. It's basically a relational endorsement from God. And it has tangible effects on people and situations.
So let's lay them out side by side then. Luck, merit, favor. Because, the worry is we might accidentally start excusing laziness if we focus too much on favor, right?
Absolutely. A valid concern, and the sources address it. Luck, totally random, impersonal, doesn't care who benefits.
Say.
Merit, that's what you earn. Skills, hard work, achievements, it's essential. You need competence.
Okay.
But favor. Favor is described as this sovereign overlay. It can amplify the merit you already have, make sure the right people see it at the right time. Or sometimes it can even override merit if the assignment demands it.
Override merit. Wow.
Yeah, granting access based on the mission, not just the resume. Think of it like this. Favor can accelerate things when your own effort hits a wall. You need the skill, yes, but you might need favor to even get the chance to use the skill.
So they work together, not substitutes.
Definitely not substitutes. They're meant to work in tandem. But favor is that nonlinear element, the accelerator.
Okay, so if favors the climate, the positioning,
right.
Let's talk more about power, the action.
Yeah.
You said the sources draw a sharp contrast.
Yeah.
How do we see that play out?
Right. We define them by function. So power, the Greek word used is dunamis, that's God working through you. Direct, often visible stuff.
Like what?
Equipping someone with amazing speaking ability, incredible endurance for a task, maybe even clear signs or miracles in some biblical contexts. Power equips the actor.
Okay. Direct action through someone.
Exactly. Then favor back to own is God working for you. More indirect, relational. God subtly influencing someone's decision, maybe softening a hard heart.
Bending circumstances.
Precisely. Securing mercy when you don't deserve it. Granting unexpected access. Changing a key person's mind right before a crucial vote. Favor unlocks things and positions the actor.
That analogy you used earlier makes sense now. Power is like the lightning strike, the direct action. Favor is the climate, the atmosphere, the background conditions being arranged.
It's a really useful framework. And the story of Joseph illustrates it so well. I mean, here's a guy sold into slavery, no status, no leverage, no dunamis in that sense.
Right. Completely powerless on paper.
But the text repeatedly says he found favor.
Right.
First with Potiphar, his owner, then even with the warden in prison. This favor, this goodwill. It wasn't a sudden miracle setting him free. It was the atmosphere around him. It didn't remove his chains immediately, but it positioned him.
Positioned him how?
It allowed him to actually use his God-given administrative gifts and integrity even within that broken system. That favor opened the door so his competence mattered. And that positioning, years later, enabled him to save entire nations.
Wow. So the favor came first, creating the opportunity for his skills to be seen and used.
Exactly. Without that prior positioning, his gifts might have just withered away in prison. It highlights that favor sometimes requires real patience. The positioning can take time, decades even.
Okay, this is where it gets really practical, I think.
Yeah.
The sources lay out these recurring patterns, ways favor strategically functions in history, like a blueprint.
That's right. It's fascinating. They identify these patterns for how people move from, say, obscurity or even captivity into real influence, specifically to advance a larger mission. Pattern number 1 is access. The key example is Esther.
Okay, Esther.
Right. An orphan, no royal connections, purely based on merit or status. Irrelevant. But she finds favor, gets chosen, gains access to the king, to the throne room, and she leverages that personal access for corporate rescue, saving her people.
Access. So in today's world, what does that look like? Not necessarily becoming queen, I assume.
Probably not. Think about maybe a junior person with no real standing getting invited into a crucial strategy meeting way above their pay grade.
Okay, getting into the room where it happens.
Exactly. Or maybe the CEO taps someone relatively unknown for a super sensitive project, bypassing the usual hierarchy. Not based on title, but on this sense of trust that favor seems to generate. It grants that first crucial meeting, the entree.
Got it. Access. What's the second pattern?
Second is credibility. Think Daniel.
Daniel in the lion's den.
Well, before the lions, he's a captive in Babylon, an outsider, yet he consistently finds favor, finds goodwill with powerful foreign kings like Nebuchadnezzar. And this favor meant his advice, his counsel, carried incredible weight. People listened to him even though he had no official standing. Favor grants trust even when status is missing.
So credibility is about your voice being heard, your insights valued, even if you're not technically supposed to be the expert.
Precisely. Maybe today that looks like a small nonprofit leader somehow persuading a skeptical government committee to back their project. Not through lobbying power, but because the key decision maker adjusts their character and vision. Against the odds, your voice cuts through the noise.
Okay, access, credibility. What's third?
Third pattern is authorization. And the example here is Nehemiah.
The wall builder.
The wall builder. But remember his job. He was a cupbearer, a servant to the Persian king. Yet, the favor he had with King Artaxerxes was incredible. It didn't just get him a meeting, it got him resources. Royal funding, letters guaranteeing safe passage, actual authority delegated from the king to go rebuild Jerusalem's walls. This was empowerment to execute a mission.
Authorization. So
Yeah.
that's like getting the budget, the team, the green light, everything you need, maybe when you shouldn't technically qualify for it.
Absolutely. Imagine a mid-level manager suddenly getting full exec sponsorship, a blank check budget almost, and the power to pull resources from anywhere to launch some high-risk, high-reward project.
Something that normally takes ages of bureaucracy.
Right. Favor grants the keys, lets the mission proceed rapidly, bypassing the usual barriers.
So pulling these patterns together, favor often comes before the big promotion or assignment. Character things like faithfulness, integrity, seems to attract it. And crucially, it's always linked to a bigger purpose, a communal goal, not just personal gain.
That's the consistent thread in all these examples, yes. It serves restoration, deliverance, a mission beyond the individual.
Okay, but this brings us back to the ethics. If favor isn't earned, isn't it just unfair? Doesn't it risk creating entitled leaders?
That's the absolute danger zone, and the sources are really direct about it. Yes, favor is a gift, but it comes with huge moral responsibility. Entitlement is the #1 killer of favor.
How so?
Because entitlement leads straight to pride, looking down on others, hoarding the access or resources you've been given. It shuts down the flow.
So it's not automatic. It requires something from the recipient.
Definitely. It demands active stewardship, and the sources highlight 3 core disciplines for stewarding favor well. First, humility and gratitude. You have to constantly remember it wasn't just you. Attributing success solely to your own brilliance is poison here. It's about recognizing God's hand, asking, why me?
Keeping perspective.
Second, generosity. Favor is meant to flow through you, not stop at you. If you get access, use it to lift others up. If you get resources, share them for the broader good. Hoarding kills it.
So use the influence to help others gain access too.
Exactly. Mentoring, connecting people, funding community projects. And third, accountability. This is huge. Favor plus arrogance is toxic. Leaders need to build in checks and balances.
Like what?
Transparency in how decisions are made, maybe having an accountability group or advisors who can call you out, structures to prevent God-given favor from turning into slimy cronyism or just promoting your friends.
Right, preventing favoritism in the negative sense.
The ultimate test is, does your favor elevate just you, or does it elevate your team, your community, the mission?
That's a sharp distinction. Favor used selfishly is counterfeit.
Yeah.
But favor stewarded with good character actually multiplies. It flows outward.
Well said.
Okay, let's get really practical now. For someone listening wanting to cultivate this posture, this heart that might attract favor, how do you do that without making it some kind of formula? Do X, get Y amount of favor.
Right. It's definitely not transactional. It's more about alignment, preparing the soil, so to speak. The sources consistently link favor to certain dispositions and practices. One area is spiritual habits. Just cultivating that deep connection with God, the idea that presence precedes promotion. And crucially, practicing repentant humility. Arrogance seems to be the direct opposite, the repellent of hen.
Humility keeps coming up.
It's central. Second is character markers. Basic stuff, but foundational. Integrity, competence, doing your work really well, even the small stuff, because responsibility attracts more responsibility. And generosity, again, favor seems to flow more readily through people already known for giving what they have.
So be faithful with what you have now.
Exactly. And third is relational craft, how you interact with people. The advice is often build bridges, not ladders. Listen more than you pitch. Align yourself with others who are also focused on bigger kingdom-minded goals, not just climbing personally.
Build bridges, not ladders. Like that.
Favor often moves through those kinds of networks. One's focused on mission, not just self-promotion. And, when favor does show up in real life, it often feels like, well, the sources call them fingerprints of divine intervention.
Fingerprints, like how?
It's that sudden, inexplicable yes you get. That timing that works out perfectly against all odds. That opportunity that just lands in your lap, bypassing all the usual hoops. You need discernment to recognize, okay, something shifted here. The climate changed for me.
Right, it's not always a booming voice from heaven. More subtle.
Often very subtle. Requires paying attention.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for us today? Why is understanding favor such a potential game changer?
I think it's because it reminds us that divine orchestration, God's bigger plan, often outpaces even our best human strategies. It fundamentally reframes success.
How so?
The goal shifts. It's not just about climbing the ladder for yourself. It becomes about contributing to a larger mission, helping the community around you flourish. Personal elevation is a byproduct, not the primary goal. And this whole concept of throne, of grace and favor, it really grounds our identity. It reminds us we're meant to operate in dependence on God's grace, not just rugged self-sufficiency. It calls us to interdependence.
Dependence and interdependence. Okay. So we always like to leave our listeners with something to chew on, a provocative thought. Connecting back to Daniel, Esther, Nehemiah. Favor is clearly a gift, but it's also a call to action, a responsibility. So here's the question for you, the listener. If God were to grant you a major, unexpected favor tomorrow, maybe huge access, significant resources, profound influence, what specific systems, what checks and balances, what relational accountability would you put in place today, right now, to make sure that blessing multiplies outward for others and isn't eventually corrupted by pride or entitlement?
That's a powerful question to sit with. What structures ensure stewardship?
Something to think about. Thanks for this deep dive.
Always a pleasure.